Welcome to the graduation exercises for the class of 2015. Please stand for the processional and remain standing during the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem.
It is now my pleasure to introduce our teachers, staff, school officials, and honored guests.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Seniors, please remain standing. Guests, please be seated. I would now ask our marshals, Jerica Lee and Rocco Casaselli, members of the junior class who have been selected by the seniors for this honor, to please seat the class of 2015. Thank you, Jerica and Rocco. It is a pleasure to welcome parents, relatives, friends, and the Long Meadow community to this wonderful event, honoring the class of 2015. On behalf of the seniors, I extend a thank you to the entire Long Meadow community, including Superintendent Marie Doyle, members of the school committee, the select board, and the school council, our clergy, and to our esteemed faculty, especially Mrs. Janet Coyne and Mrs. Judy Nielsen, who are off to well-deserved retirements. Janet, would you please stand to be recognized? Seniors, great job. Long Meadow High School, during your time here, has achieved academically at some of the highest levels in school history. And much of this success is due to your leadership. AP, SAT, and MCAS scores continue to be impressive both on state and national levels. I am pleased to announce that 243 of you have met the graduation requirements and that nearly 95% of you will be attending an impressive list of colleges. Long Meadow High School provides students with a rigorous curriculum, and you have clearly met the challenge. At the annual awards assembly the other day, 62 seniors were named as recipients of a Presidential Academic Award. These members of the class maintained a 4.0 or better grade point average for their entire 4 years of high school. Very impressive. All of you can be proud to have been school leaders and for maintaining our status as having the most successful extracurricular, athletic, music, and art programs in Western Massachusetts. This level of achievement did not occur by accident. It took your talents combined with your work ethic. You showed a determined effort to become involved in numerous community service projects that make us all proud to have you represent our school. I want to thank the students in the class of 2015 for your leadership and grace that you have shown for 4 years at Long Meadow High School. I thank you for welcoming me in my first year as principal and for continuing the great tradition of LHS students in exemplifying kindness, classiness, and simple decency. When I am asked about what it is like to work at Long Meadow High School, my first answer usually does not regard academics, athletics, music, or artistry, but rather the positive dynamic and rapport between the faculty and our student body. Thank you for helping to create this atmosphere and for exemplifying this to the rest of our student body. To the parents, and in many cases grandparents in our audience tonight, thank you. The foundation which allows this positive culture at LHS to exist is the respectful approaches and attitudes that your sons and daughters bring to the doorway of Long Meadow High School each and every day. Thank you for raising these young men and women in the manner in which you have, and in a way that prioritizes not only learning and education, but also in fostering respect for others and in maintaining a level of decorum which is often lacking in many other places in society today. It is because of you, the parents, that these students have had the foundation to succeed over the past 12 years and why they approach situations in the way they do. I am honored to serve as principal for your sons and daughters. Absolutely honored. Thank you for this opportunity. Graduation speeches are expected to include some kind of wise and insightful enlightenment or advice. So here is my best shot at trying to impart upon you, the graduates, something that I believe is meaningful and greatly needed in this day and age. To the students in the class of 2015, my advice is, in the words of Abraham Lincoln, to be sure to plant your feet in the right place and then stand firm. Take the lessons and values that you have learned from your families and that are being celebrated here tonight, and bring them with you to the colleges and universities that you will be attending. Bring them boldly and unapologetically with you. While you will take your intellects and your passions with you to your next destination, do not forget your values and foundations. America today, including on college campuses where most of you are headed, is desperately in need of people with strong constitutions and clear-cut values and ethics. Add to the dynamism of the campuses that you will become part of by bringing your entire self with you, and don't let the conversations and decisions take place without your ideas and input. Our modern society has become, in so many ways, morally relativistic, and I would argue that we are not better off as a result of this. The majority of people are good, kind, thoughtful, and decent people. But we may not reach that conclusion if we relied solely on what we see on television, in films, and on the internet. You embody much more than what we see on television, in films, and on the internet. Prove this at the colleges that you become part of. College campuses are, and should be, places of thoughts and ideas, and forums for the exchanges of those thoughts. The conversations and dialogue will be much greater and much more substantive if you are an active part of them. You will find yourself surrounded by some very intelligent people at these colleges, and you will meet people from different parts of the country and world, and in many cases with some very different backgrounds. This is a good thing. This exposure will help to educate you as much as the subject-based learning that you will engage in within classrooms and lecture halls. You will be exposed to some very intelligent and credentialed professors during the next 4 years also. This is also good. They will help to expand your base of knowledge and your perspectives on many things. Respect others, listen to them, learn from them, gain insight from them. However, do not fail to add to their knowledge bases, to have them show respect for you, to have them listen and learn from what you have to say, and to have them gain insight and perspective as a result of interfacing with you. Be sure to plant your feet in the right spot and then stand firm. Make sure that you exercise your right of free thinking and free speech. Do not be afraid to voice your views and beliefs, whether you represent the majority or the minority opinion. And don't be afraid to play devil's advocate if a perspective is not being represented. Groupthink, at best, makes for stale conversation. At worst, it can cause dangerous situations to arise. People who are not confident in themselves often fear standing out. Don't be afraid to stand out. Don't be afraid to stand up. Be courageous enough to challenge the norm and the accepted paradigm among those you are surrounded by. If you are among conservative thinkers, challenge others with a liberal argument. If you are among liberals, dare to be conservative. Do not blindly accept what your professors say either. They are just human after all. with their own sets of biases and lenses that they see their world through. While it is good and healthy to be flexible, don't be so flexible that you have no spine. Be vertebrates. While it is great to be open-minded, it is also possible to be so open-minded that your brain falls out. Don't let that happen. Stay grounded to the values which you inherently know are good and true. Be sure to plant your feet in the right place and then stand firm. Have the will to defend that which you feel is important, is relevant, and is true. Stand up for what you believe in. Defend that which is worth defending. It is okay to be impressed by those that you meet if they are deserving of it, but not so impressed that you acquiesce to others' values. Be respectful of opinions different than your own, but do not confuse respect with reverence. The line between right and wrong and acceptable versus unacceptable has become very blurred in our world. While each generation reinterprets norms and mores, certain truths remain, or should remain, constant and unyielding. These are the values you have been taught by your families. So take the values that you have learned from the people who love you most and who have taught you how to live over the past 18 years with you when you move into your next phase of life. Take the essence of your hometown and your family's values with you and apply them to the situations that you encounter. Be leaders on your campus and not followers. Be speakers as well as listeners. Be shepherds and not sheep. The people that you will meet can learn very important things from you, and the colleges and universities that you will be joining are lucky to have you. Believe in yourself and where you come from. After all, you are graduates of Long Meadow High School. And while it is important to be open to and ready to learn, to be respectful of others and their perspectives, and certainly to be humble, it is also important to be bold and to be heard. So be heard, members of the class of 2015, in the next phases of your life and in the years to come. Life is short, life is fleeting. Don't let it pass you by while you remain silent. Speak through your words, your art, your music, and your performances. Speak up for what is right. Speak up for what you believe in. Speak up for those people who cannot speak for themselves. Speak up in the professions that you join and become part of, and in the organizations and institutions that you will someday lead. Speak up for that which needs to be said. Be sure to put your feet in the right place and then stand firm. Do this, and you will make this world, while you are in it, a better place. Thank you, and congratulations. It is now my pleasure to introduce the president of the senior class, Anthony Ferreira.
Hi. So, I think it's safe to say that we've had quite the high school career. But before I address you guys, I'd like to address everyone else here tonight, starting with parents. Parents, congratulations. You have equipped us with the tools that we need in order to become successful, and believe me, we are sincerely grateful for that. I know it's easy to assume that we forget you walking us to elementary school every day, or bringing us to our friends' houses, or baking cookies for our class when it was our birthday, back when we could actually bring food into school. But we don't forget that, because it's those little things that have had the most profound effect on who we are today. So parents, take a deep breath, sit back, and let us take the wheel, because with the knowledge, the ethics, and the values which you have imparted in us, we can confidently navigate our futures. Although we will never turn down an offer of financial support. That's not, Mom and Dad, I will never turn that down. So parents, relax, we got this. Teachers, congratulations. You have prepared us intellectually for our next step. If I ask you to think about from the past that teacher whom you truly respected and admired, I'm sure it's pretty easy for you to do, right? I know that each of you is that teacher for someone graduating here tonight, and I think that's pretty awesome. What I also think is that what you do each day is irrefutably underappreciated. The time you spend, you can clap. The time you spend before and after school just to make sure students succeed, the hours you spend correcting papers and coming up with lesson plans, and the myriad of cheery phone calls I'm sure you receive from Longmeadow parents who I'm sure just want to tell you you're doing a great job. There was some uncomfortable shifting like up there. I called you out on it. So teachers, on behalf of everyone graduating here tonight, for everything that you do, thank you. The officers. A graduation speech would be simply incomplete without acknowledging these four exceptional young men. I've had the opportunity to spend every single morning with them over the past 4 years, and actually pretty much every single weekend. My God, I could not escape them. But I don't mind because they are extraordinarily hardworking, ridiculously smart, remarkably driven, and incomparably handsome. Here are my predictions for them. John McDonald will become the CFO of Mercedes-Benz North America division. Joseph Rinaldi will manage a hedge fund. John Mack will become a U.S. senator, and then Frank Underwood his way into the presidency. And if that reference went over your head, shame on you, watch better television. Ben Grotsky will own some multi-billion-dollar corporation, and I will be friends with them. Finally, the class of 2015. We made it. Ben made it too. That reminds me, Joseph, I owe you $10 after this. Just find me. You guys are so genuine, so fun, appreciative, smart, inventive, receptive, all integral qualities of the leaders of tomorrow. I'd like to dispel the myth that after today we won't see each other anymore, because I've been hearing that a lot recently, and that's just ridiculous. Because these are the people who have shaped you, and more notably, the people who have stuck by your side through those god-awful 3 years of middle school, when, if we're just gonna be honest, we were all so ugly. So ugly. So I'd like to be your tour guide down memory lane for a second. Oh, that was kind of gross. Let's start with freshman year, the 12-2 Neon Boom, a night when you guys thought that the glow sticks were actually for breaking open and pouring on the cafeteria floor. Also the night we learned that an iPod hooked up to speakers is actually not a DJ and doesn't work that well. But as cliche as it may sound, it is the night that melted the Glenbrook-Williams divide and formed the class of 2015. Let's fast forward to sophomore lock-in, a night that challenged our ability to fight fatigue and your ability to completely destroy a bounce house in under 5 minutes, which is just impressive. Like, we weren't even mad. We were like, wow, that's okay, good for you guys. Next was sophomore semi, our last event with Mr. Bill Lyon. We'll miss him. Then came junior year, a quiet year filled with academic stress and college visits. We had our Gatsby-themed junior-senior, where we learned that 2 single-serve pasta stations for 350 people was absolutely the least efficient way to feed everyone. That night, we also learned to read the fine print in contracts. Which brings us to senior year. We've had an awesome senior year. LHS Black Hole was the singular, powerful machine that brought literally the entire school together for to support our sports teams. Our football team made it to the state finals. They got to play at Gillette Stadium. Our swimming team won Western Mass. Let's clap. Our swimming team won Western Mass. Connor Strain jumped really high, and there you go, Connor. He became a Super 7, which, Connor, does that mean that like the other 6 forfeited, or it's like 7 out of 100? Find me after, I want to learn about that. Joseph will talk more about the senior class play, but we did sell out all 3 nights, which is just a credit to you guys. And okay. And because of your unwavering support over the last 4 years, we were able to have a $5 prom, which is amazing. This graduation is not just a celebration of our academic successes, but the little successes provided to us by each of you here in the room, friends, family, teachers, all working in concert to get us where we are today. So, class of 2015, be proud of yourselves, and let's take the next steps together. To quote a film that has now transcended generations, once a Wildcat, always a Lancer. Once a Lancer. I meant to write Lancer. It's just too late now. Oh, God. Lastly, I'd like to leave you with a little song I wrote. The title is When You Graduate. Here goes. When you graduate. It's not done yet, but thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. That was beautiful. After all these years, time that's passed away, days will never get back. These memories will fade. I was busy worrying, and I was eager to leave my old self behind and to feel new. This place is all I know. This is my home. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. After all these years, time that's passed away, days will never get back. These fears of mine should fade.
That was beautiful, thank you. Good evening, graduates, staff, family members, and honored guests. It is a privilege to speak with you tonight. Graduation is such a significant milestone as one chapter of life ends and another begins. My, how you, the class of 2015, has flourished. Within these chambers are graduates who represent the very, very best in American education. A U.S. presidential scholar, merit scholars, top athletes, accomplished linguists, amazing musicians, community service leaders, peer leaders, talented artists, class officers, and dedicated students. This evening, I would also like to recognize your teachers and parents. They've been your guiding light through life's journey to date. Without them, this day would not have arrived. Please join me in a round of applause for your teachers and parents. Tonight, I'd like to speak to you about lessons to learn from Bill Gates, an innovator, a philanthropist, and an inspiration to people across the globe. Gates, a self-made man, had a vision for technology that soared. What is even more remarkable than his business prowess is his renowned work as a philanthropist. So what lessons can we learn from this man? Here are 5 salient points that Gates has made. Number 1, learn from failure. Number 2, have faith in yourself. Number 3, learn from criticism. Number 4, respect everyone. And number 5, give back to the community. Let's look at each of these areas, starting with number 1, learn from failure. Bill Gates said, "Success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose." Some people may be surprised to learn that Bill Gates' first attempt at starting a company, Trafo Data, was a complete failure. His partner, Paul Allen, summarized the experience well when he said, "Even though Trafo Data wasn't a roaring success, it was seminal in preparing us to make Microsoft's first product a couple of years later." Bill Gates learned from failure, and you will too. As you go off to college, there will be greater competition. Embrace challenges, know that you may succeed or fail, and accept failure as a learning opportunity. The second piece of advice from Mr. Gates is to have faith in yourself. He said, "Don't compare yourself with anyone in this world. If you do so, you are insulting yourself. You are amazing just the way you are. When we compare ourselves to others, we are underestimating our value and our worth. There will always be better than those in some areas and those that are worse. Focus on you and be the best person that you can be every day of your life. Measure yourself by your family's values and your own moral code, and do not let others change the direction of your moral compass." Gates' third caveat of advice is learn from criticism. He said, "Your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning." Be prepared for the critics. You will meet them all along your journey in life. Do not be defensive. Listen carefully, because we often can learn the most about ourselves from those who are most critical. Weigh feedback carefully, improve where you can, and know that you are right where you should be in life, learning and growing each and every day. This wise sage might give a 4th piece of advice as respect everyone. Gates was cheeky when he said, "Be nice to the nerds. Chances are you'll end up working for one." Bill Gates is known for his ability to bring together and work with all types of people. Having been a techie long before it was fashionable, Bill had an early grasp on the facts that people who are different are amazing and can shine in different ways. Whether you are a techie, athlete, musician, artist, scientist, or scholar, continue to appreciate the talent that each unique individual brings to the table. The final lesson that Bill Gates teaches us is perhaps the most important one. Be a humanitarian and give back to the community. Do you know that he has already given away $28 billion to countless endeavors, such as expanding child immunizations, reducing family homelessness, supporting the United Negro College Fund, funding partnerships for effective teaching, saving newborn lives, and much, much more? While Bill Gates can give away billions of dollars, humanitarianism can happen without money. It happened right here in Longmeadow when you, the students, partnered with Milton Bradley School or sold cards to raise money for cancer patients. It occurred with food drives for Thanksgiving and during visits to the elderly at Providence Place. How about when students made new friends in room 232 or sponsored a drive for toiletries for the homeless? Perhaps it was most evident in the Stroll for Strength. Humanitarianism clearly existed at Longmeadow High School with you. From Shriners Hospital to Storrs Library, your efforts made this world a better place. You, Longmeadow graduates, have taken your place as humanitarians alongside Bill Gates, and I urge you to continue to do so. My final advice for you, class of 2015, is to persist in giving back to the community. Use your knowledge, wisdom, and privilege to make this world a better place for everyone. It is my hope that you will thrive and excel in the new worlds of colleges that you enter next fall. Remember this, please, as you start your journey, that being a humanitarian is perhaps the most admirable quality that a human can possess. Best wishes for every success, class of 2015.
Going out tonight changes into something red. Her mother doesn't like that kind of dress. Everything she never had, she's showing off. Driving too fast, moon is breaking through her hair. She said it was something that she won't regret. Having no regrets is all that she really wants. We're only getting older, baby. I've been thinking about it lately. Does it ever drive you crazy? Just how fast the night changes. Everything that you ever dreamed of disappearing when you wake up. But there's nothing to be afraid of. Even when the night changes, it'll never change. something red. Her mother doesn't like that kind of dress. Reminds her of a missing piece of innocence she lost. We're only getting older, baby. I've been thinking about it lately. Does it ever drive you crazy? Just how fast the night changes. Everything that you ever dreamed of disappearing when you wake up. But there's nothing to be afraid of. Even when the night changes, it'll never change, baby. It'll never change, baby. It'll never change me and you.
Good evening. Standing before you all tonight, I am overcome with an incredible sense of pride and achievement. I'd like to take you all back nearly 4 years to recall our freshman orientation. More than 250 students standing in the old school's gym. Walking into that room on that day, I might have been able to imagine us all here tonight, but I could never have imagined the incredible journey that the last 4 years which brought us here have been. I can't promise that you'll remember every moment of high school, but I can promise that you'll remember tonight. For tonight represents everything that we have worked for over the past 12 years of our lives. I've heard many times that education is a marathon, not a sprint. Well, if that holds true, then the finish to our 26.25-mile journey is right up here on this stage. Now this journey, it sure wasn't easy. Way back in 2011, the phrase, class of 2015, didn't have much meaning to me. It was just this far-off year, a number on a calendar. But that name, that class, quickly began to hold an incredible meaning. As I'm sure you all remember, our class's march to greatness had humble beginnings, namely the 12-2 Neon Boom. The first freshman dance in something like 13 years was then followed by the last lock-in ever in our old school. Next, we moved from sophomore semi to junior senior, where we forever changed high-budget event marketing with our Great Gatsby commercials. But all of this pales in comparison to our senior year with our most colossal challenge to date, the play. Through a careful selection process at the end of junior year, Disney's High School Musical was anointed our class play. I have an incredible respect for each and every member of our class who was involved with the play. They juggled fall sports, college applications, and the regular stresses of teenage life for nearly 2 months while they learned from scratch how to put on an incredible play. Now, I know what you're thinking. Every class at LHS puts on a play. What makes us so special? Well, picture this. One day, I'm standing in front of almost 900 people, and I have to inform them that we've just sold out the tickets to our Friday night play. You can imagine the people in standing room only weren't overjoyed. I do hope they forgive the smile on my face. And then, in this very same week, I find myself among over 300 of my fellow Lancers cheering on our football team at Gillette Stadium. I mean, who gets to do that? Now, we have always had student sections, and often with themes, but I couldn't summarize our senior year without mentioning the impact that LHS Black Hole had. Friday nights during football season were so awesome. Seeing the school come together to cheer for our team was an incredible feeling. And that spirit, it carried on. I saw it in soccer games, baseball games, hockey games, even swim meets. And so, LHS Black Hole, whoever you are, I'd just like to say thank you. You brought this school closer together than it already was, and for that, I am forever grateful. When you get your diploma tonight, I want you to open it up and look at the sketch of our high school. It didn't always look like that. Nearly 5 years ago, 3,000 people came together. They crammed into the halls of a very different Long Meadow High School. They came together to make a decision for us. They voted to spend nearly $80 million to build a brand new school. They put their trust in this class. They took a gamble on us, and tonight, that gamble pays off. We were the last class to spend a full year in the old building, and that gave us a unique appreciation for what we were given. We have some pretty smart kids. We have some pretty incredible athletes and some amazing people. And those skills, our accomplishments, they were fostered by a facility where all the tools that we needed to succeed were right at our fingertips. Now, as we leave this place, which has shaped us into what we are now, we have classmates who will dot the globe. We have students going as close as Bay Path and as far away as Israel. We have people who will go to some of the most prestigious institutions in the world: Harvard, Princeton, Cornell. We have people who are joining the military to honorably serve our nation. We have everything from D1 athletes to grade A scholars. But no matter how far you go, how high you climb, never forget the community which made us who we are. Now, I'd like to end tonight with a quote from a song. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs us by the wrist, directs us where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question, but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable and in the end is right, and I hope you've all had the time of your lives. I know I have. Thank you so much for everything that you have all taught me. Thank you for allowing me to serve with the dream team of class officers. And thank you most of all for your friendships. Lastly, before I let you go, I want you to know that despite our long and legendary past here at LHS, don't be fooled. Our story doesn't end here. No, far from it. This is only the beginning. Everything you've witnessed has been just the first chapter in the story of our lives. It is from this moment, here tonight, we launch our attack on the world. So friends, go forth and be everything you can be and make your mark on history. Congratulations, class of 2015.
Storming down the halls, screaming in Spartan gear. A packed auditorium for a senior class play. First to have an LHS freshman dance. Defeating East Longmeadow football team in Western Mass on our home field. Overflowing with so much raised money to the point where we have a $5 prom. These are just some of our accomplishments and a long list of memories. It's been a fun, fast, and crazy trip for the class of 2015. A lot has happened since we first stepped into the old high school building, but we made it. We made it to the last day of stepping out of the new high school building. Don't be sad that it's over. Be glad that it happened. A wise television character once said, "Everything has a beginning and an end. Life is just a cycle of starts and stops. There are ends we don't desire, but they're inevitable. We have to face them. That's what being human is all about. Today may be the end of the end, but tomorrow is the beginning of a new day." K through 12 has been one heck of an experience, and this experience has sculpted us into what we are today. And I'm about to put one last engraving. We may be ending our childhood adventure, but never losing our inner child, of course. It's time to go back to second grade, because it's story time, and I'm about to tell you one last story. This story has an important moral and stars a wise old man and a blissfully ignorant young boy, also known as Gavin McAfee. He's charming and attractive, also single. High in the Himalayan mountains stays a wise old man. I ventured to these mountains in search of this sage's wisdom. This is a true story, by the way. Once I finally happened upon his snow-capped hut, I saw him meditating with his legs crossed. He asked why I had come here, and I told him I was seeking advice, not only for me, but for my whole class. I asked, what is now our purpose in this world? And he replied by telling me to grab a basket of fruit from outside. I toddled out of the hut, and there lay a basket, overflowing with apples, clementines, bananas, pears, blackberries, and mangoes. I did as he required of me and brought the basket of fruit inside. Still meditating with his back facing me, the old man instructed me to choose one of the fruits from the basket. I did as he said and picked up an apple. You chose an apple, he said. Astonished doesn't even get close to it. His eyes clamped shut, and his back facing me, I knew he could not have known what I knew I had chosen. I asked, how? And he stated, how could I not have known? For the apple is the most obvious choice. I threw the apple back into the basket and grabbed a clementine. I then asked what fruit I now held, and once again he confidently stated that I had a clementine. How? I asked again. He proclaimed, how could I not have known? For the clementine is the most obvious choice. He suddenly turned, staring at me, and stated, why do you keep making the obvious choice? I thought for a while, and I realized what the only way to outsmart an omniscient person was with: a paradox. I would ask if the fruit I held was crushed or not. If he said the fruit was whole, I would squish it. But if he said the fruit was crushed, I would leave it as it was. So no matter what the old man said, I would outsmart him. I grabbed a blackberry from the fruit basket and snuck it behind my back and asked him whether the fruit I held in my hands was crushed or not. He then stood up and walked away. The fruit is as you do with it, he said, and so it is with your life. And so it is with all our lives. I tell you this tale today because tomorrow our new tale begins. And a new tale means new possibilities. And new possibilities comes choices. And what we choose to do now, today, people depend on that. I want every one of you to remember who you are, right up to your inner child. And always remember your passions, your drives, and your promises of who you want to be in the future. Don't change and become what society expects of you, because then you blend in with society. And that's not who we are. Once you get a job, and every day you go through the motions, you learn a little more of how to accept the world the way it is. Well, here's the rub. Heroes don't do that. Heroes don't accept the world the way it is. They fight it. Martin Luther King, Susan B. Anthony, Katniss Everdeen, Mikhail Gorbachev, Tom Paine, Han Solo, Malala Yousafzai, Rosa Parks, Gavin McAfee Crowley. They chose to change the world. And so can you. But you know, it's not only about the fruit that you choose. It's about what you do with that fruit. Look, in the long run, there's no big win, no end to all struggle. Evil and good are just a cycle of stops and starts. And the line between both is as clear as mud. So since there's no grand end to everything bad, you may feel that what we do makes no difference. But there's a phrase I heard way back when that said, if nothing we do matters, then all that matters is what we do, because that's all there is. So since the bigger meaning eludes us, every act of kindness today, small or big, will lead to a greater tomorrow. We first walked into high school depending on the world, but now we leave high school with the world depending on us.
dreamer dreaming beside me. The city sirens keep me awake, but I know that I'll see you again in the long run. People, they tell me that I should be careful, that you'll worry when I'm already miles away. But I know that I'll see you again in the long run. And I know that I'll meet you again in the long run. And we can be friends because I'm still afraid of leaving the things I love dearly. I wander, I roll my ride home to tell you that I'm sorry. I won't leave it this late again, no. But I know that I'll see you again in the long run. And I know that I'll meet you again in the long run. And I can't be married, you'll take me away from everything that I love dearly. And we can be friends, or you'll take me away from my home. My home, my home. And I know that I'll see you again in the long run. Oh.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ben Grodsky, and it's been my honor to serve as the class treasurer for the past 4 years. Longmeadow High School has given so much to all of us, and now it's our turn to give something back. From the money raised through all our class events, the class of 2015 would like to donate new microphones for the auditorium and money to go towards building bocce courts. Most importantly, we will be leaving behind a legacy of success and achievement.
Good evening. I've spent 4 years in student government, and we've had plenty of discussions. My favorite discussion took place only a few weeks ago. The 7 of us, the advisors and the officers, were sitting around our table, all with coffees in hand, and we talked about what your Starbucks order says about you. We looked at each of the 7 coffees sitting on the table and determined the character of the person drinking it just by looking at the drink. Luckily, I don't need their Starbucks order to determine the character of the 2 men sitting behind me. Our class advisors have contributed just as much of their sweat to the success of this class as any of us, and we are eternally in debt to them for their contribution to the memories that we will cherish forever. It is fitting that they be here now to join us in forging another memory, and it is my privilege to introduce Robert O'Connell and Joseph Rosenko, our class advisors.
It is now time for the awarding of the diplomas. As principal of Longmeadow High School, I am pleased to acknowledge that the members of the class of 2015 before you tonight have completed their graduation requirements. In recognition of this fact, I would ask seniors to please move their tassels from the right to the left. Marshals, would you please direct the seniors as they receive their diplomas from Miss Marie Doyle and Miss Janet Robinson, the chair of the school committee.
Anthony Clement Ferreira. John Anthony McDonald. Joseph Antonori Rinaldi. Jonathan Riley Mack. Benjamin Michael Grodsky.
Adam William Acker. Taylor Mark Adelson. Gianna Marie Alberici. David Paul Algier. Sarah Michelle Alves. Jake Nathan Amatruda. Robert Daniel Anderson. Michael Andrew Anfang. William James Athenios. Deepika Babu. Shannon Lynn Bailey. Catherine Ann Baker. Amelia Margaret Bukowski.
Alec Truman Barquette. Jennifer Christine Barnhart. Keegan Charles Berry. Edward Pierre Bartlett. Natalie Grace Bell. Anthony Yuri Belli. Blaze Socrates Burnell. Jonathan Michael Bernardi. Sarah Elizabeth Bernstein. John Stanley Blanton III. Charlie Kevin Lee Blasey. Cameron Yuen Hong Booten. Sarah Marie Bray.
Henry Dickey Brill. Colin John Broadbent. Jordan Elizabeth Broadbent. Michael Joseph Capoza. Nicholas Glenn Burns. Allison Taylor Byrne. Paloma Maria Caceres. Samuel Wayne Calouette. Alex Chris Calabrese. Francis Albert Calabrese. Jennifer Nicole Callahan. Cynthia Camacho. Maria Lisa Caputo. Lauren Rose Carey.
Samantha Heather Carlton. Giovanni Victor Carpentier. Emily Josephine Carroll. Susanita Carvajal. Ian James Cass. Elijah R. Castillo. Jordan Max Chase. Michael Shen. Sing Juan Brian Chung. Cassandra Elizabeth Seaplick. Abigail Catherine Simony. Jacob Scott Simony. Benjamin David Carrera. Daniel Timothy Cotner.
Shayla Rose Coughlin. Samantha Marie Cox. Nicholas Richard Cruz. John Dennis Kroll. Ashley Elizabeth Cunningham. David Bernard D'Agostino. John Gaffney D. Matthew Charles DeMarsh. Ashley Catherine Denmark. Priyanka Devapaptuni. Nicholas Paul DeBona. Savannah Rose Didomasi. Jacob Taylor Donnellan. Ty Raymond Dudek.
Thomas Ellis Dunn. Jennifer Marie DeRocher. Liam Christopher Egan. Alexander Kip Ehrenberg. Justin Alexander Feldman. Manuel Michael Fernandez. Madeline Elaine Foley. Ann O'Donnell Freeman. Matthew Charles Friedrich. Caroline Margaret Fregon. Samuel Joseph Gallant. Lisa Grace Garrity. Ian Xavier Gauthier. Jill Anna Jelinas.
Joshua Lewis Goldberg. Danielle Gojing Goldstein. Connor Christopher Gottsman. Olivia Michelle Gravel. Michael Gerard Grippo. Christopher Donald Grogan. Allison Kate Harriaz. James Bartholomew Heemskirk. Dylan Rain Elmis. Nicholas Jacob Herringshaw. Rishadine Michelle Hope Hines. Jordan Evelyn Hurwitz. Noah Philip Hurwitz. Chase Patrick Hussey.
Ian Thomas Ireland. Julia Mary Izzo. Mary Elizabeth Jablo. Sanjiti Johari. Kyle Andre Jones. Emma Fiona Jones. Jalen John Jones. Conrad Steinmetz Joyle. Mallory Barbara Judson. Ezra J. Kane. Ross Charles Kamen. Joshua Kang. Jung Hoon Kang. Julianne Elizabeth Kapner.
Dylan Bridget Keeney. Alan Jude Keeley. Charles Walter Kelleher. Christopher Thaddeus King. Allison Marie Knight. Daniel Oleg Kaufman. Emily Ann Kreinest. Ian Michael Lanzakis. Ah Ming Lau. Curtis Paul Leduc. Lucille Anna Levitt. Young Sun Lee. Richard Lee. Sophia Elena Lip.
Sydney Catherine Lodra. Rohini Loki. Emily Lynn Longo. Nicholas Spencer Losi. Shelby Marie Lucier. Caroline Grace Lucier. Sankirth V. Madabushi. Zara Mahmood. Jacob Christopher Mannix. Hannah Marie Manzi. Carly Alice Marino. Jake Kittredge Marino. Gavin James McVie Crawley. Mari Ryan McBride.
Conrad Daniel McCarthy. Catherine M. McCarthy. Timothy Dennis McGann. Madison Markey Malikian. Andrew Stoll Metz. Zachary David Munier. Allison Nicole Michel. Misa Mitsuhashi. Sierra Bonet Morehart. Jesse Camarote Moriarty. Travion Moss. Marcus Timothy Mueller. Kiernan George Mulcahy. Colin Christopher Murphy.
Michelle Lauren Nato. Madeline Rose Nyman. Jackson Cash Nolan. Evan Richard Novak. Kelly Rose Novak. Jonathan Tyler Nunez. Dana Elizabeth O'Connor. Oluwadare Michael Odutola. Connor Charles Ostrander. Lauren Maureen Kaifa Padilla. Kelly Carol Payne. Thomas Robert Pelcher. Maria Annalise Perez Gilinas. Paige Mary Phillips.
Sophie Bell Plotkin. Javier Jacob Posner. Ryan Gerard Prue. Sophie Grant Saltis. Amanda Charlotte Rabideau. Quinn Kelly Rafferty. Brenna Ann Riley Evans. Sydney Dylan Requart. Ariane Richardson. Parker Austin Reardon. Yu Leanne Rickier. Emma Rachel Robbins. Emily Miriam Robinson. Ariana Paige Rodriguez.
Timothy Patrick Ronaldson. Zachary James Rooney. Peter Elias Romeliotis. Melissa Emily Rousseau. Max Andrew Rubin. Joseph Raphael Rousseau. Jenna Louise Rutz. Dylan Michael Rye. Abigail Ann Salvon. Brianna Nicole Santinello. Joseph Paul Marino Santiello. Carly Ann Santiago. Ryan Carl Sarno.
Cecilia Anissa Schurmeister. Jenny A. Schmuter. Samantha E. Schneider. Marissa Schwartz. Angelina Belen Scolari. Jordan Dwayne Scott. Michael Joseph Settergren. David Austin Sell. Emmett Anderson Shea. Robert Francis Shea. Kathleen Carol Sheehan. Temperance Aurora Schrenker. Sabrina Gabrielle Siciliano. Michaela Triggs Smith.
Patrick John Smith. Jordan Nicholas Sousa. Tammy Lorraine Stevens. Jillian Shea Stockley. Ashaya Anjanu Jem Stone. Connor Michael Strain. Colin D. Strasberg. Laura Jean Zapanik. Jordan Lewis Tara. Madison Ann Taylor. Jonathan Lawrence Texera. Erin Marie Temple. Drew Vincent Termine. Zachary Lunt Tatro. Jeffrey Davison Thor.
Alexa Trangisi. Emily Lauren Tyler. Alexander James Bahaji. Emily Mensch Valencia. Derek Paul Veen. Matthew Paul Veens. Dylan A. Walker. Gordon Duncan Walker. Evan Blake Whetstone. Sarah Ann Whitney. Rachel Teresa Woods. Hannah Alexandria Woolsey. Vivian Mindy Yu. Alexa Whitney Zippin. Jamie Sarah Zolator.
I am pleased to introduce the LHS graduating class of 2015. To all of you, congratulations on a job well done. Marshals, as the recessional begins, would you please lead out our graduates, and thank you.